In today's class, I will explain what is Docker Compose and I will show you a complete demo. We will Dockerize a PHP Node.js application with MySQL database. It's a complete demo you can use in your real life. So before I start the video, just a quick reminder: if you haven't subscribed the channel, subscribe the channels, because after completing the CTDev course, I will create lots of cloud and DevOps related video which will help your career. So don't forget to subscribe the channels. So now let's start this class. First, I will give you the overview of the documentation. Then I will explain the documentation and I will show you the hands-on demo. So in first line, we will explain what is Docker Compose. Then we need to do some command to install the Docker Compose file up. Then we will show how you can install Docker Compose and you can check the version, what Compose is version is installed in your local PC. Then at these steps we need to follow the hands-on demo. So for this is the project structure. We'll create a folder, that under that folder we'll create a Docker Compose file. Then we'll create three folder: PHP, Nginx and WW3 folder. Those files are keep in that folder. So index file is located in the WW file, then the Docker file will be located in the PHP folder, and Nginx configuration file will be nginx/default.conf location. And this is the Docker Compose file. Don't worry, I'll explain everything when I give you the explanation. So this is the Docker Compose file. Then the second step is we need to configure the Nginx file. It will configure the Nginx and how Nginx will be show. Those things will be defined here. Then we'll create a Docker file. Like here is some steps. You need to create the image that things are explained here. Then we'll create a simple index file with connectivity of MySQL database. Then we need to run the simple Docker Compose up. Then it will run all container at a time. So this is a LAMP step working. So after that, you can successfully MySQL connection. You can see it's showing MySQL is successfully running, and some command we are using in the documentation. All I put it here. So now go to the documentation again, and parallelly I will explain everything. So now I will explain first what is Docker Compose and what is the advantage of Docker Compose. When using like multiple container run in our project, Docker Compose is a tool that will help us to make our work easily. So if we scroll down, you can see a Docker Compose file. So here you can see I run in Nginx container, and one is PHP container, and one is MySQL container. So if we don't use the Docker Compose, then separately we need to use first need to run Nginx container related command. Then I need to run PHP related command. Then I also need to run MySQL related command. Also I need to put some environment variable for MySQL. Also I need to create a volume for MySQL, one volume for PHP container, and I need to also create network and also for DB volume. So lots of things I need to do for these projects. So Docker Compose will make our work much easier. So this is the basically Docker concept. So I give example here. So you will get this documentation in our GitHub repository. So this is a project structure. So I create a project, just give this project name is LAMP project. So under this project there is a Docker Compose file. So this file is the doing everything. So there is the Nginx file. So this will create a Nginx container which is serve the page, and this is a PHP container, and this is the index file. There is also a MySQL container. Forget to add that one. So there is basically 4 or 5 containers. So Docker Compose is a tool that allow you to define and run multiple container. So Docker application using a single YAML file. So you will use a single YAML file. That file name was docker-compose.yml. So if we run that file, then everything will be created. So before we use Docker Compose, we need to make sure Docker Compose is installed in our PC. So for checking the Docker Compose file, you need to just make sure Docker Compose version command. So if the Docker is not available, just you can run that command, that will install your Docker Compose. So like if I copy this command and run my local PC, so you can see Docker Compose version is there, but when I run this command, this is another like different PC. Here Docker Compose is not installed, so it will suggest me to run this command. So instead of using this one, better use this one. So just copy this one, paste. So now if I run Docker Compose, it will showing me the version of the Docker Compose. Now I can basically use the Docker Compose file. So let me create a file here first. Make a directory first. Just make directory 3 dir. Already exist. So give me just 4 cd4. So in this 4 directory, just I need to create the folder structure as like this. So first I need to create the Docker Compose file. So let me copy that one, cat docker compose.yml. make sure spelling is perfect. This file name should be docker-compose.yml. So let me copy that file first, then I can explain what is inside this file. So cat. So like for using Docker Compose file, we need to use the version. Then under the like service, we need to use this service. Then under this service, we will declare the container details. So like here, I give the container name is Nginx, or service name is the Nginx. So this is the basically service name or kind of like container. So one service is Nginx, one service is PHP, and one service is MySQL. Okay, so in the Nginx like container service, I using image Nginx. So this will pull the image from the Docker hub. So using Nginx latest image, then I define the port as like when I run any command to run the Nginx container, I put the -p, then host port and container port. That's thing I put here. So ports I declare this is host port and this is the container port. Then I use volumes. It will create a volume .ww in my local directory, and it will share with the nginx var.www.html. So this is the container directory, and this is the local file, local like my computer. This directory basically in my computer. So like if I change anything in my local PC, it will affect in the container. So basically this folder in my local PC and with the like shadow of this. So this is like in the container. So basically when I show the example, you can understand these things. So there is another file like in the nginx directory, I put a default.conf file. Same file will be connected with the nginx container. So nginx configuration file will be located in this location. So etc nginx.conf.d, then the file name is default.com. So this is the nginx file location. Okay, so every information we get from like docker nginx image file. So like here is I use depends on. Depends on means like there is another container PHP. So like when this one start, before PHP container should be run. So before PHP container run, then it will be run. So if I use another container depends on MySQL, then it will run PHP, then MySQL, then it will run at the last nginx. So there is some dependency for this container on this container. That's why I just put depends on. So I need this container run first, then run start this container. Okay, so that's why I use depends on. This is the function of depends on. Here I also like use network, so it will use the lamp net network. So because we are using like 3 container, so we need to connect all these container in a single network. That's why I use this network section. So for this container purpose, I use like nginx image. But when I using PHP, so this container are using build. So when we using build, that means there is a Docker file. We need to create a image. So this image is located in the PHP folder. Okay, then same way we are using volume, which is www in your local PC, and www.html is the container of the PHP. Then using the network. Then we are using MySQL container. So image is MySQL 8.0. This is we get from Docker Hub. So restart always is a command, like when the container is restarted, it will also restart the service. So we are using environment variable because in MySQL we need to log in for username, password, and database, everything we need. These things we are passing by environment variable. So we are using root password. We set root password. Just give the name root password. You can put anything here. Then you are giving the database name is example.db, and user is user, and MySQL password is user.password. So these things we can get from MySQL Docker Hub page. So when you see the MySQL Docker Hub page, you can see what keyword we need to use root password for database or user or password. This thing I can get from the MySQL Docker Hub page. Same way we can also add the volume here. So here is the DB data. So it will be mounted with the var lib MySQL container, and using the same network, and I create the volume DB data, and network I'm creating lamp.net. Okay, so this is the basically Docker Compose file code. So now I need to create the default.conf file, so which I mentioned here. So I need to create a directory nginx. So under nginx directory, I need to create this file. Okay, so let me create that. So nginx, so cat nginx, then default. Now let me copy this content. So now there is one nginx folder. So docker default.conf is under that folder. So I need to create a PHP folder. Under the folder I need to keep the Docker file. Make sure spelling is perfect. So let me copy Docker file content. Now I need to create an index file. This index file is nothing, just if the database is working perfectly, then it will show the message successfully. If the database connection is failed, then it will show the different messages connection is failed. Okay, so let's create the folder www. Okay, so all file is created. So these three folder, nginx file, the default file is located in nginx folder, PHP Docker file is located in the PHP folder, and www is our browser page, which is index.html. So our application or website will be located in that folder. Okay, so all source code need to be under this folder. So if we create any different website, need to put this website in this location. So same way you can create the Docker Compose file. So let me check the Docker Compose file again. So we are using nginx. So nginx default file is located here, and also a page will be served from this location. So www. So our index page is there. So var.www.html, then it will get the index file, or any other file will be there. It will also serve from that location. Okay, so and port is there. So PHP, this Docker file is the PHP folder. That's why we create PHP, and we need to create the image. That's why using build. So it will create the image which we define the Docker file. So that way it will create the basically image. and same is volume and landscape, and MySQL is we just run the image. Okay, so for running the Docker Compose, we need to just use Docker, then Compose, then up. So if we want to make it background, just make it D. So first it will download all the images like MySQL image, Nginx image, and Docker related image, so PHP related image. So like in PHP, so for PHP it will download this PHP 8.2 FM tag, then it will install some dependency to run the PHP, then just make it this working directory www.part.html. So from this location all file will be served. So like it will take a little bit time to install everything, so it's like running now, like second step 3. So you can see network is created, volume is created, container MySQL is created, PHP is created, and Nginx is created. One thing you can see, everything before is coming 4. You can see everything is 4 because what directory we give under those file, it will add those things here. So if we put like project 1, then it will instead of showing 4, it will show the project 1 before all file. Okay, so that's why it's showing like 4. So then the service name PHP, because it's running only one container, that's why it's put 1. Nginx running only one container, put 1. So like if Nginx have multiple container or database have like 2 or 3 container, then it will be mentioned here. Okay, so if I now run docker ps, we can see 3 container is running. One is PHP, one is MySQL, one is Nginx. Okay, so now if I see the volume docker, you can see this is for like different one, this for this project, because you can see here is a 4. So volume is created, also one network will be created. So docker, you can see these are default one, so this network is created by this compose file. So now like a compose file is running. Now if you browse this page, we can access this. So this is from my like AWS, so need to grab the AWS EC2 IP. Let me check the IP. So this is the AWS IP. I need to check this one. So if I you can see the message lamp stick is working, and you can see the connection to MySQL is successfully. So that means our page is working properly. So this is basically like advantage of using Docker Compose. So if you scale down, you can like see the Docker Compose up -d, it's running in background, so you can browse the page. So all like code I am using here, everything you get from the source code. So if you still face any like issue, you just knock me, and like all Docker Compose related command I put note down here. So if we use docker-compose version, it will show the version. Docker Compose up, it will be up the like Docker Compose file, and all container which is mentioned in the Docker Compose file all will be up. And if we use -d, then it will run in the background mode. When you want to like down the all container, just we need to use Docker Compose down. And if we want to build any image, like in this page cat Docker Compose, so here is only one build page. So if you want to build it image, I can also like build this one. Like if I want also use like here build MySQL image, so if I use build, then where is mentioned build, all images will be created. But in this compose file, I using this is like docker hub image, and this is one also docker hub image because here is mentioned image. But in this PHP, I using docker file. That's why is using bin. So if I want to create the image, then I can use this command. Let me show this one also. So if I use docker compose ps, it will show the like container, and if I use docker compose log, then it will show the log. And if I want to like log in any server, then you just need to use this command. So like docker ps, then you can see the all container ID. So docker ps show the docker container. So for use docker compose, yes, then it will showing the same thing, but it will also show the service name. So we can log in by service, because when I'm using docker compose, we log in by this service. So when we create the docker compose file, you can see we just create 3 services. So we are able to log in any container with this service name. So same way, just docker compose exec, then the service name like php, then same way which bash we use, bin bash. You can see you can log in that container. Okay, so this way we can able to log in any container. So the last thing, so like the docker compose log, same you can see the log also. So just the last one thing, I want to show the image creation process. So this way you can create the image. So docker, let me down the file. So docker, no container is running. So let me show the file again. So we want to create the image of this docker file. So under this file is a docker container, so we a docker file. So we will create an image for this docker file and use this like this way. So use docker compose build. So it will build the image. You can see the like service or name was PSP. There should give the name PSP. So docker image ls. So you can see the like image name is like for everything we create, it will add also the folder name. So it is using o dash then the service name, which we mentioned in the docker compose file. So like if you are now try to using this image and the latest version, let me change the docker file. So vi docker compose. So instead of using the docker file, we are now using the image file. So our image name is 4-php 10. Okay, so now it will use this image instead of using to create a docker file. So now docker compose up instead. You can see all container is running. So now you can see the browse space, same browse space. You can see everything is working fine. So one thing, just going like showing you like let me ll. So this www file is shared with this container. Okay, so if I change anything in this PC, it will affect in this container. Let me change anything like let me get in www folder first. So here is the index file. If we change anything, it will affect directly in this file. So like let me open this file. like 1111. Save. Now if I refresh this page, you can see 1111. So right away it will affect in the container. So anything we are changing in this local directory, it will share with the container. So this is the advantage of using this type of volume. So basically that's all for today's class. I hope you found this video is helpful. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. So up to next video, best of luck, bye.